Okay, welcome to episode 1 of my new channel, Run with Heart. So, this channel is about running and it's also about heart health. And the goal of it is to raise money for heart health research and anything else related to heart health, because that's kind of where my journey begins in this video series. So, my name is Jonathan Burns. I'm 28. And about a year ago, I decided to take on the lofty goal of trying to make the Boston Marathon. I used to play a lot of sports when I was younger, and I found I got away from that and I craved competing again. So it seemed like a good goal. I was progressing pretty well with this. I got up to the point where I was about on pace to do sub 3 hour marathon, but I could only do it at about a half distance. So it was coming along from scratch, some good progress. Then, because I have a congenital heart defect, bicuspid aortic valve, so essentially you have valves in your heart, blood's supposed to flow through them, and most of them will stop the blood from flowing back in the other direction. Mine was supposed to have 3 leaflets on it that protect the blood from coming back into the pumping chamber, and it only had 2, and it slowly deteriorated. So I went in for one of my routine checkups, and I guess it had progressed to a worse state, and they sent me through to a surgeon to get an opinion on it. Anyway, I go into the surgeon, and he says that I need surgery. Like, if we could do it tomorrow, he would do it tomorrow because it was very urgent. It was a bit of a wake up call. Didn't really expect it to be that bad. So, he's talking about scheduling it. I have a half marathon scheduled coming up. I was going to do the Boston half. So I was pretty, like, in a bad mental state, depressed, just didn't see it coming that I would need surgery that soon. They were thinking maybe I would need it in middle age or something like that. So yeah, we started planning the surgery, everything. He said no more running, no more competitive running, because I was basically a ticking time bomb of when is the valve going to fail? When is my heart muscle going to stretch too far to go back? Yeah, so I was kind of not running, just dreading this surgery that was coming up for a few months. I found out I was going to need it in August of last year, and then I ended up getting the surgery November 29th, 2024. And it was really rough, as you might imagine. So it was full open heart. They break your sternum, go in, repair the valve, sew it in, sew you back up, and then you got the big old scar right down the middle of your chest, the whole deal. Pretty significant surgery. It was looking like, 4 months before I would actually feel good again. But, made it through the first stint in the hospital. There were some hiccups because they were trying to figure out my blood pressure medication. I did have to go back in after it came out. They were just kind of trial and error, figuring out the medications. And then eventually, once that was all sorted out, you have to start a walking regimen because you need to get your blood flowing again, or you risk clotting and other complications. So that's when my journey back to running started, with a walk. You have to walk before you can run. So my PB in about January after the surgery. So I had the surgery in November. In January, I was walking 1 mile at about a 17-minute per mile pace, well off of the 7-minute, 30-second pace I was running for a half marathon before, pretty easily. So that was demoralizing, just all that fitness I built up over the previous seasons of running just gone immediately. And then slowly you just add more time walking until I could walk for about 45 minutes consistently. And then I started throwing the heart rate monitor on and trying little jogs while keeping my heart in the aerobic zone so I wouldn't, overdo it. So like my aerobic zone is I sit in like 145 beats per minute to 155, somewhere around there, and just keep the heart rate in there and just walk and walk and slowly mix in the jogging until I could jog at that heart rate. So then I was running like 10-minute miles. I could do maybe two or three, had to space them out in the week. And then that lasted for a few months. April, I could start to mix in some speed work and go above that heart rate into threshold and zone 5. I was feeling good again. And then I decided it was time to race again. Blue Nose 5K. About midway through May. So that was about 5.5 months after surgery. Ended up doing it in 22 minutes, 2 seconds. Felt pretty bad about the last mile. The first two were good. Like I was sailing along, but that last mile it hurt a lot. But then I finished, and then it was just like I was really optimistic after that because I was like, I can still do it. Not a bad time, under 8 minutes a mile. Like, it's not unattainable that I can try and get back to my goal of running the Boston Marathon. Obviously, way off of the time. The qualifying times are getting faster. I have to go like sub 2 hours 55 minutes for a full. So anybody who knows running knows that's insane to try and go from a 22-minute 5K to that. But progress started to pick up pretty quickly after that first race. So second race, Johnny Miles 10K in June, just after my birthday. 44 minutes, 50 seconds. That one pretty good. I did feel awful like 2 miles in for some reason. And I was just trying to kind of fight through it. Like, didn't want to stop, kept going. And then I kind of got into a groove. Probably just tried to run too fast. Ended up finishing it, 44 minutes, 50 seconds, decent. And that was just a stepping stone towards half marathon. The next race was the Highland Games 5-mile road race. So I ran that in 34:53. It was just under 7 minutes a mile pace. So pretty good. Felt good, getting slightly faster each time. So that works. It's like 8 point something kilometers. I was pretty happy with the effort. It's a really competitive race. There's a lot of like really awesome runners there. The guy won it. I'm pretty sure I saw a video of him running in like the Canadian championships for track and field in the 5,000. So really good field. It felt good to be out there. It felt good to be amongst faster runners, feeling a little bit better. Humid day, but got that one done, got the time in, got more work done because the end goal is marathon. So I'm making progress, another stepping stone. The next one was a big one, NS half marathon. First time covering that distance in a race.
Great job, guys. Great job.
So that was really, really tough. It was hot. I was kind of still experimenting with fueling. I had my gut trained enough for it, but still didn't feel great. It was more just like mental. So I was going for 139 by the watch. I did hit 139. There was about 200 meters extra after my watch beeped. So it was hour 40:17. A pretty good time. I was happy with that. Just not even a full year after surgery, running half marathon, decent time, moving along, covering distance, making progress. I was really happy with that. And I didn't quit. kept going no matter how hard it was. Very, very big stepping stone. I was really happy with that. Next one was Natal Day Road Race. So 42:06, it's just under 5K. I was running faster than I did for the Johnny Miles 10K. Got that one in. Another good one. It was a little smoky, so I felt like garbage afterwards. Felt like I probably could have done a little bit better, but no excuses, you gotta push through. People are still running like sub 5 minute miles probably in that, so you know, smoke's not that big of a difference. But yeah, I was happy with it. Still getting quicker. It's slightly quicker than the other shorter road races I was doing. After that, Annapolis Royal 5K, 5K PB, 21 minutes 7 seconds.
Keep pushing, keep pushing. Good run, John.
It was extremely smoky because there was the East Dalhousie, I believe, wildfire going on, and it was nearby. It actually got canceled and pushed a couple weeks, so we were doing it in September, and it was supposed to be in August. Shout out to the firefighters and first responders for, you know, working crazy hard out there in the same conditions, way longer hours. Now that's more of a physical feat than running 5K. But yeah, I got the PB, felt great, made a huge comeback in the race because I wanted to run negative split. So I started slower and then finished faster at the end. I was running under 6 minutes a mile for the last like 800 meters, which felt pretty good. But yeah, I wanted to get that feeling of conserving energy going quicker later. Trying to train myself to do that because that's the hallmark of a good marathon is running the fastest at the end. After that, the Beat Beethoven. And I gotta tell you, I got beaten by Beethoven. It was a rough one. So it's at night. It's like 7.5 kilometers. You're running in like downtown Halifax through Point Pleasant Park. It got darker way faster than I thought. And, I was cooking along. I was actually running very fast. I was running like 6:15 per mile, like cooking and feeling good. Had my new Adidas running shoes on. They're like race shoes. Just what could go wrong? Then I'm running along the straight stretch with this other guy who's like slightly ahead of me. And then we're running side by side. And it felt like we were running straight for too long. And then I asked him if he knew where he was going. And he's like, no, I thought you knew where you were going. So we're lost in the middle of downtown Halifax, dark at night, no idea where to go. I don't know if I was using the force or what, but I just kept running. I covered, I think I worked it out later, another kilometer extra onto the race, but somehow made the right turns to get back onto the course. So I got back onto the course and then I'm going, and then somebody who was spectating told me the wrong turn again. So I almost got lost again. Um, so just battling, just trying to get through to the end. Finally made it. Really good last 200 meters because I was sort of angry because you know, I felt like I could have had a really good time and like really cooked it through that last little bit. I ended up finishing it 35 50 seconds, 35 minutes 50 seconds, and like it's good, but like compared to the other times I was running, if you see it on paper, it's like what happened. Um, so I ended up finishing like 11th overall, but it was like a fun run. I was doing it with my mom and sister, and there was like a little concert afterwards, and like it's called Beat Beethoven because you're supposed to beat Beethoven's whatever symphony that takes 50 minutes. So you're supposed to go under it. So I beat that, but you know, could have been better. I'd like to see those numbers on the board. I mean, everybody can kind of sympathize with that. But anyway, it was good work for the big one, which is tomorrow, the Valley Harvest Marathon, the full marathon, 42.2 kilometers. That's what's going down tomorrow. The goal is sub 3:35. So just over 8 minutes per mile for the 26.2 miles. all these races were leading to this one for this season. It's kind of like my big finale for this running season. We're going to see how it goes. Earlier today, we were practicing bottle handoffs. The lovely Casey here, my camera woman and girlfriend, she was helping me practice bottle handoffs because we have to do one. I'm running with a vest that I'm putting the bottles in. It's my own kind of fueling strategy. Pretty revolutionary if you if you run with hydration vests. I think this might help you. It's kind of a good idea. It's like a happy medium between actually wearing the full vest and not using one. So, to bring this back, because I've kind of been just rambling about my physical accomplishments since my surgery, and can you say ego, ego much? But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of just supposed to be a neat story to bring attention to heart health research. I'm going to make a fundraising page for Heart and Stroke. You can just donate to it. It'll be part of the channel, like linked probably in the description. And that's what this is about. Overall story is me trying to get to the Boston Marathon. My grandpa ran it before me. It's kind of been a bucket list item. I want to do it, and I'm not going to let this limit me. I'm not going to put limits on myself because of it. I'm going to go all in. So, yeah, we're just going to see what happens. This is like the big step of the Valley Harvest. So I'll know I can do the distance, and then it's only up from there. Just cutting down that time till I can get probably. I need to go like probably sub 250, which is like people are like, "What are you nuts? It's going to take you years." Maybe, maybe not. We'll just see about that. But yeah, I got my Lucky Wolf shirt here. Wearing that, sporting that. So that's gotta shave off a couple minutes right there. You know what I mean? Like I don't know about like the science of it, but I think the spirit of the wolf, legs feed the wolf, that whole thing, I think that's gonna tie into it. But yeah, this is about heart health, and it's also about just sometimes you need a little hope if you're somebody who goes through surgery for whatever, or if you're in an accident or whatever. Like people are laid up. I was laid up. I was in such a bad place. Didn't think I'd be doing anything again. It's like, like what, I might as well just give up on everything. Blah, blah, blah. You go down the black hole. But time goes by and you make little decisions over and over again. And then someday the light shines on you, things start working, progress starts happening. And there's been failure, all the way through. There's been training sessions where I'm like, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. I'm never going to be at the level I want to be. But then the next day, it's, you got to be a goldfish, have that short memory, forget about the last one, go on to the next one. And you might do something that surprises yourself. Because I've been surprised myself. I thought I was in good shape in high school because I was playing sports, and now I'm like cooking those times that I ran in high school. So, yeah, that's a shot at you, younger John. You had most of your heart valve left, and you still couldn't run as fast as me. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I want to raise some money. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. That's what we're going to do. That's what's going to happen. I'm running the Boston Marathon. I don't know when, but it'll happen. So we'll just see how this marathon goes tomorrow. I'm ready. I'm feeling good. Put me on the start line.
If you're not awake now, Wolfo, well then I don't know what to tell you. I'm soon going to hand it over to Atlantic Chip to start you off. You'll hear the horn. And away you guys and girls will go.
we're just getting started. It's already halfway.
42. Great job. Congratulations, Jonathan Burns and Mark Ronald. Full marathon.
Okay, so it's the day after the Valley Harvest Marathon. Did finish. It went okay. The goal was not met. I was going for sub 335, ended up doing 342, which is a decent result, 10 months after surgery, but wanted the goal. A lot of minutes were added. I'd say probably 5 just in some poor decision making, and loss of focus in the middle of the race. I was running a bit too fast and it kind of messed up my pacing. And then it was like the last 4 miles, I wasn't increasing. I was actually decreasing, maybe decoupling a little bit. And then in some other stuff for the drawing board, my legs weren't really prepared for the distance as much as my cardiovascular system. Lungs and heart were pretty good. Heart rate stayed where it should have been, but the legs just kind of stopped moving at a certain point. The muscles were just so torn apart. There was not a whole lot I could do to get them to move. So there, I was just going slower. And I did stop briefly because my coordination, proprioception, I guess, like where my legs were in space, I was kind of losing it because they were just so tired. So I had to get my rhythm back again to avoid spraining my ankle. But, got through it. And now I have a baseline. So 342. This is what I'm going to want to beat next time. But I think probably 5 to 6 minutes will be easy to shave just on decision making and adding more weekly volume. I just couldn't build it fast enough before the marathon. I would have risked injury. So I just kind of kept going up like 10% per week, which is what they recommend. But next time, obviously, it'll be more now that I've had a marathon under my belt. So, all in all, it's training for the next one. That's the way I view it. There's a lot of failures along the way. You don't meet goals, but just think of it as this is training for the next time. I think there's going to be a big jump in progress for the next one just because just knowing now what I didn't know before, it's going to help a lot. Yeah, get these legs healed up. Probably take about at least a week, maybe get on the elliptical or something again, then go back to the base building phase of the next build. So probably do like a 5K. There's like a fun one around Christmas, do that. And then we'll be looking at spring for another marathon attempt. All stepping stones to a bigger goal. I'm going to have to go sub 250 eventually, but I think I'll get there. Just stick to the process. The time will come off, the legs will temper, it'll work. So, yeah, going to eat a whole lot. What else happened? Oh, yeah, the Jays lost last night. So, that's no good. We want to take down these Mariners, go to the World Series. Another little thing to take my mind off stuff, recoup, heal up. So yeah, we'll be back. I'm coming for you 335. I'm coming for you 330. Look out.